Okay, it's 4:30. I'll call the meeting to order, please. Agenda item 2.1, adoption of the agenda for the March 23rd, 2017 special meeting of council. Okay, Councillors Reimer and Salt. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 4.1, amendment bylaw number 7, Village of Valemount open air burning bylaw number 703, 2016, amendment bylaw number 771, 2017. There is a recommendation there. What is council's wish? We've lost Councillor Torgerson. Okay.
No, I'm sorry, Your Worship. I'm just bouncing back and forth between my notes.
Okay. We have a recommendation that council approves first, second, and third reading of Village of Valemount open air burning bylaw number 703, 2016, amendment bylaw number 771, 2017, as amended. It needs to be moved for discussion. Okay. Councillors Reimer and Torgerson. Discussion. Any discussion, council? Any questions? Yes, Councillor Reimer.
So as I've been looking at this, reminds me of a quote I keep seeing. In theory, there is no difference between theory and practice, but in practice there is. And I'm wondering why we continue to insist on making our life more complicated than we really need to with having a separate open air burning bylaw, when most of the bylaws that I've looked at in most of the municipalities cover part of that within their fire safety and prevention bylaw in the Act. Now, I don't know whether we don't have one because our fire department doesn't actually belong to the village, its regional district, and we share it or whatever. But most of the bylaws cover this part of the aspect of life under that other bylaw, and it's a lot more comprehensive. It deals with not only with open air burning, it deals with all kinds of smoke emissions from solid fuel burning appliances, from it covers areas like smoke alarms, the fireworks, anything to do with fire safety within a community. And as I was going through some of these things, I'm looking at our bylaw, and I'm thinking this, even the revision still isn't easy to comprehend and wade through. And the simplest one, the simpler we can make this, the better. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but the City of Trail is a similar type of, it's more of a bowl than we are. Mm-hmm. Anybody that's been to Trail knows it's covered, surrounded by mountains. And I would have thought that if I would have looked in their bylaws, that I would have found something that would deal with the quality of the air and open air and burning. And they have very simple 4 points in open burning under their fire safety bylaw. No person shall engage in open burning. The fire service is authorized to order an open fire to be extinguished. And if an order under that section is disobeyed, the fire service can extinguish it and the person responsible for it covers it. And notwithstanding that, and subject to the Waste Management Act, which is a provincial act, a person may conduct open burning for land clearing purposes under the authority of a permit issued by the fire service. Done. Covers everything. Because the province of British Columbia, under the Environmental Management Act, covers all that off. Why do we keep insisting on reinventing the wheel and making trouble for ourselves? But that's only my suggestion in this, that we make life too complicated. I know it doesn't necessarily address the bylaw that we're looking at right at the moment, but I think the simpler the better in terms of trying to kind of confine this. If, you know, I think part of what this does, part of making it simpler, it puts the onus on people that own the property to make sure they get along with their neighbors. That they don't smoke their neighbors out. That they don't cause issues. And nobody can do that. That's all regulated. So I know it doesn't address it, but that's my concern. I don't know whether we can go backwards from here and incorporate something else, or whether we actually have to keep dealing with this, but that's my initial comment for now.
Do you have any remarks, Mr.
Your Worship, it's the reason why we don't have an all-encompassing fire service one is because the fire department's a regional district function. Okay. So we have to have it separate here. Okay. Everything open air burning in the village of Valemount is under the bylaw enforcement officer. As it relates to the simplicity or complexity of it, this amended bylaw is being drafted by legal counsel, and this is in line with current best practices. I do admit it's thick. It's intended to be that way, so it covers every possible angle. And to answer the final question, yes, it certainly puts the onus back on the individual owner, and that's also in line with what legal counsel recommends. It reduces the exposure of the village. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Torgerson, do you have any, I didn't see you putting your hand up, do you have any comments or questions?
Well, I was just scratching my chin, Your Worship. Unfortunately, I heard about every fifth word that Councillor Reimer was trying to communicate. I did hear a little bit of Mr. Davey, so I'll just weigh in with what I know of basically looking at our bylaw amendment as it currently stands. I'm concerned with 5.7, the approval of site size and location. And I asked staff, and perhaps if anybody else knows, is there a charge or a fee for the burning permit? Because it costs, there is a cost to oversee this bylaw. So therefore, I'm wondering if we should not be charging a fee for the permitting process.
Okay. I'll let Mr. Davey answer that.
Your Worship, so at present, no, there is no fee charged. That's the next step. So if council had approved this amendment, the next step will be the permitting process. We're going to turn it into a checklist that builds a further redundancy into the process. So if an owner wanted to come in and seek a permit, they would have to initial and sign every single loop to close all the holes. So for example, you know, we'd have, we confirm that the piles are 500 meters from a school, and then the applicant would sign that. We confirm we've met with the Ministry of the Environment, and the applicant would sign that. We confirm we have no other option available, and the applicant would sign that. And then further to that, the applicant would make a statutory declaration signed, and hand it over to the village to confirm that that everything they've said is in fact true. On the permitting side, in the future, village staff will be bringing an amendment to another bylaw that will allow us to build in a fee to any permit. I can't give any details on it now, but I'm sure it'll be somewhere in line with the size of the burn. So there'll be one fixed rate, no different than if someone wants to get a business license. Same idea. And as the size of the burn increases, likely too will the cost. But again, we got to do some more research on that. And that'll stay in as an operational procedure level. So this would become iterative. So every time staff notices that it has to be tweaked or improved, we could do so, issue another version, and then bring it before council just for information. It wouldn't have to be approved.
Does that answer?
Thank you.
Oh, it answers your question, Councillor?
Very comprehensively, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything further, Council? Yes.
Your Worship.
Yes.
Section 14.1, there should only be one T in commit.
I'm surprised that Councillor Soft didn't see that.
Well, I have some other things.
Okay.
I have one more too, Your Worship.
Yes?
Your Worship, there's just one more amendment we put forth. Section 2.3, the amended section, it reads, burn piles are not to exceed the following dimension: 5 meters in length, 5 meters in height, and 3 meters in width. This is my typo. It should read 5 meters in length, 5 meters in width, and 3 meters in height.
Thank you, that was a question I was going to raise. So 3 meters in height.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Any, Councillor Salt, floor is yours. Go ahead.
Just some other housekeeping issues is the bullet numbering is out from 2.3 on. 2.3 is listed twice. So just some minor housekeeping, but my biggest question was what Mr. Davies just answered, so that was great.
Yes.
Yeah, Your Worship, the way it came through from track changes, it's a bit distorted, but we'll certainly have that corrected.
Okay. Do you have anything, Councillor Blanchette?
Yeah, 2.6, item J, it says within 100 meters of any residence at all times. Is that the burn can't happen it has to be outside of 100 meters?
That's correct, Your Worship. That's in line with provincial legislation as well.
Is there any way we can extend that and make it 200 meters? 100 meters seems awfully close to me. How much is that in feet?
300 feet.
About 300 feet? It seems kind of close.
Do you have an answer for that?
I know, Your Worship. I mean,
Yes,
it'd be up
go
to
ahead.
council for that.
Be up to council.
Provincial regulations of 100 meters right now. So before, that was not in there. So we certainly want to make sure our bylaws in line with the province at minimum.
Yes.
Because I noticed like schools were 300 and we're changing that to 500. So even if we could have 300 meters for the house, for residences.
Yeah. I think, Councillor Blanchette, the reason it was changed to 500 is to be in line with the provincial legislation.
For the schools.
For the schools, yes. Yep. Okay. Is there anything further that you wanted to add with respect to that item?
Yeah, that's exactly
Okay.
it, Your Worship. Just to clarify, so the provincial legislation's 500 meters when schools are in session. Our bylaw did only have 300, but we always have to revert to the superior legislation, which is the province. We've extended it though, so it's 500 meters from school, not during a timeline, but whenever school's in session, to give it a bit more strength as well.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Did we have anything in there for residences, or are we adding the 100 meters now?
Worship, we're adding it now.
We can pass, a municipality can pass as many bylaws and whatever it wants, but the provincial legislation always supersedes. Yes, municipal, yeah. What I can remember, one long-time seasoned administrator once said, you have to realize that whatever you want, you are the children of the province. So, okay. Is there anything further, council, that you wanted to clarify or ask about, or? Who's making that noise?
I think it's Councillor Torgerson.
Scratching your chin just got louder.
Checking my notes.
Okay. Was there anything further that you wanted to add, Councillor Torgerson, before I call for the vote?
Yes, Your Worship, thank you. There's several references throughout the bylaw. I think there's about 7 references to fire department member, yet there isn't a definition of what a fire department member is under our definitions. It does make a definition of fire department, and it does kind of make reference to officers of the fire department. My only question is, are all members of the fire department hold the title of officer, or is it just those with ranking titles?
Your Worship, so I did confirm officer is just officers, so that would be the chief, the deputy chiefs, the captains and lieutenants. Fire department, though, is any firefighter acting while so employed by the fire department.
Would be a member.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything further?
No. Thank you.
Councillor Blanchette?
So could we put an amendment on the floor and see if it's approved for the 200 meters for residents, or is that at fourth reading?
What do you recommend?
2.6, number item I, within 200 meters of any residence at all times instead of within 100 meters.
Okay. I would accept a motion to amend that with notation that the administrator clarify if it's allowed. Yeah. Is that okay with council? Okay. So I'll take a motion to amend it then. Councillor Blanchette, seconded by Councillor Salt, that it be amended to 200 meters and subject to clarification by the CAO. Okay? I'll take a vote on the amendment. Yes, Councillor Reimer.
Question on the amendment.
Yes.
If, is this presuming that it is an open above-ground burn? Because if, for example, somebody brought in an air curtain, which is above ground but holds it in, and there wouldn't be any smoke, could that not be closer than 200 meters? Or if it was a trench burner or pit burner, could that not be closer than 200 meters? Could that not be so that we're not grouping every type of burn into the same category?
Okay. We do have someone that can answer your question. If it's all right with council if I let that fire department member speak. It's all right with council? Okay. Please stand up and answer, Councillor Reimer.
I'm not exactly sure what quite that's the way it is, but I was just on your bylaw thing where you're going to go 200 meters, what you're asking for.
Councillor Reimer had a specific question.
Yeah, but okay, well, I can't really answer that one, but I do want to answer one on your 200 thing.
Okay, thank you, and that'll be under public comment.
Okay.
I thought you had a response to Councillor Reimer's question. Okay, thank you. And maybe that can be looked into by the administrator and clarified before the fourth reading.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Davey.
Yes, Your Worship, absolutely. It's a good question. I don't have an answer right now without bylaw enforcement officer in the room, but I think that would probably change stuff.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Salt, did you have something?
Well, I was just thinking if we're going by how we're outlining the steps that will eventually be a part of the new permit where they have to sign an initial that addresses every alternative means that has been looked at prior to open air burning being the last resort, right? So
Yeah.
I would think that would kind of cover that. You know, first they're going to see. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Changing it to 200 could be limiting. But again, if it turns out that open air burning is all that's going to happen, 200 meters is going to make a world of difference to those residences.
Yes.
Mr. Worship, I think Councillor Salt actually makes a good point with that. If it was some sort of trench burner apparatus or something similar, that would no longer be open air burning as the last effort, right? That would be one of the first steps they've taken. So I think that would not even allow the 200 meters to come into place because they would not be seeking a permit to open air burn in the first place. But I'll confirm, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Reimer?
So if there's if the burning takes place as a pit burner or an air curtain burner, there wouldn't be a permit required? I believe there still would be.
Yeah.
I believe so, but it might, because this would be the first step when they come through and they verify that, yes, we have sought alternate measures and an alternative was in fact found. So I think that would though satisfy a lot of the other prerequisites, but I can't say for sure, so I'll do some research on that.
Yes.
As long as we're flexible with that, so that we're not constraining somebody that would use the alternate type of burning, I would. And provided, of course, that it's within legality and within practicality as well.
Okay. Anything further? You're ready for the question on the amendment? All in favor of the amendment? Carried. Suddenly, Councillor Torgerson, your hand is bigger than all the rest of you. Okay.
Just wanted to make sure my voice was heard.
Yes, yes, of course. So is there any further discussion on the amended recommendation that council wishes to discuss or seek clarification at this time? Nothing, Councillor Torgerson? Okay.
No, thank you.
So I'll ask the question then. All in favor of the recommendation as amended? Councillors Blanchette and Reimer. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Agenda item 5.1, and this is public comment on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda, which means the bylaw. So is there anybody that wishes to? Mr. Craig. Yes, give us your name and address, please.
I'm David Craig. I live 1095 9th Avenue. Not sure if I'm hearing you right, but you've amended this to 200 meters now. Am I taking this right? In doing that, you've probably just eliminated everything we've been trying to do and accomplish to get rid of it, because now that you've went to 200 meters, you're getting darn close to making us move all the piles again, pushing them back within the radius of the school, which will eliminate us being allowed to burn. So I suggest you kind of, I'm not sure if you can change it, think about it, that Dean discuss it or what, to see what the numbers are. Because like she has spent a lot of money trying to do this. We're moving the piles outside the limit, so she has put a lot of money out there to do this. And by just doing what you did may have squashed all of that. So I seriously think you should think before you actually make that a full amendment to make sure that the numbers will still fit within what she can and cannot do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any further public comment? Hearing none? Oh, yes. Come to, and would you come to the podium, please, and give your name and address?
One moment, please.
My name is Gord Peters, 304 10 8th Avenue. I wanted to talk about the concept of the open burning amendment. Given the amount of public outcry for the open air burning question, I believe it's time for council to consider removing it and making an all-out ban, as they do in other communities, many other communities, such as Prince George, which has a clean air bylaw instead of an open air burning bylaw, and offers alternatives to burning, such as landfill removal and working with contractors to bring in things like open air, open curtain burning or other types of burning. We could have this discussion many more times, I think, as the burns progress. With regards to this particular bylaw and the suggested amendment that the property owner have to attest to having gone through all the alternatives and finding them, I don't have the paper in front of me, but affordable, reasonable, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm a property owner and I'm trying to save money, why would I just not say that it's too expensive for me to do any other alternative when I can burn for free? And I think a lot of property owners will consider that. They'll explore all the options, they'll check the box and say, hey, burning is free, why would I do anything else? So I think council should consider that in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody that further to make public comment on the bylaw that was discussed? Okay, hearing none, motion to receive the comments, please. Okay, Blanchette and Salt, all in favor? Carried. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Okay. Councillor Torgerson adjourns. Okay.